Chidomei, which I think I'm pronouncing correctly. Trying to anyway, who says, how do you tell atheists that atheism doesn't make them morally superior? I don't know. How do you tell them that?
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know of an atheist that thinks of themselves morally superior to people, morally superior to your God. Yeah. I mean, to the Christian God, certainly.
Oh, no disagreement with that. The problem is more with, I have some nephews who have just come into atheism, and they're talking about how they are better because they don't believe this. They've talked to some of my relatives who are Catholic themselves, and are just basically saying, you're wrong, everything you do is wrong, you should immediately abandon stuff. I'm slightly what's the word, English word?
Exaggerating?
Paraphrasing? Yes, exaggerating. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But that's basically the thing, and there's nothing wrong with them being atheists. I'm atheist myself, but it's the militancy that they're going with it. Morally superior to God, yes, but saying morally superior, but the idea of them being morally superior to other people, that's what's giving me concern. I just want advice on how to temper that and said, yes, you can be morally superior to God, but you shouldn't be morally superior. You can't doesn't make you automatically morally superior to regular people. How do I advise and guide them like that?
I think you do what you would do with any Christian claiming moral superiority. You'd start asking them questions. And when it comes to Catholicism, I think most atheists are probably more moral than most Catholics, since most Catholics do support abortion or don't support abortion. Most Catholics support the Catholic Church playing hide and go seek or whack-a-mole with their priests. There's a number of things that I think that the Catholic Church has issues with that most Catholics support. But, you take it one step at a time, one comment at a time, like you do anything else. I do know that most new atheists tend to be a bit loud and proud about it. Part of that is anger at being deceived for so long and recognizing the deception. So there's some other things going on, but just, you take one claim at a time, just like you do anything else. And if it's, around your family and you're getting upset about that, well, there's not much you can do. You can't tell people, well, you can set boundaries, but you can't set boundaries for your family. You can only set boundaries for yourself. I don't know. Cross-examined, what do you think?
Well, I want to echo something you picked up on, and my ears pricked up when you said they're relatively new to atheism. This is the trope, somewhat supported by evidence, of the angry atheist. I think many people go through the angry atheist phase. I know I did, even though I wasn't raised religious, and mine came out of the frustration at reading the Bible and realizing, wow, everything that I'm hearing from all these preachers is wrong. Like, this is very, very different. And then I read the history of how the religion got going, and it was all very, very different. And that made me very frustrated that not that I was morally superior, but that people were being tricked. People were being lied to. That was the big frustration for me. So I think I have a couple of suggestions. First, realize that they are human beings just like the rest of us. And to borrow a phrase from the Bible, they may need to learn that, he who is without sin should throw the first stone type of a situation. They should sort of take a step back, and like many other fanatical, I'm reminded of when people first become vegan, or when people first get into politics, or when people go to a particular issue that they really are passionate about. They can be very, very overwhelmingly aggressive about it. And so I would, in my experience, I would break things down by slowing the conversation down. If somebody comes in and has a summary statement like, this is just categorically better, well, then, start asking for definitions. What do you mean better? And if they say they're morally superior, well, what do you mean you are morally superior? Because atheism in and of itself, it's just the answer to a question. Are you convinced that there's at least one God out there? And if you say no, you're an atheist. That doesn't establish a moral position. So if you slow the conversation down and ask for definitions and try to find places of understanding between the groups, people will start realizing that, hey, it's the conversation's more important than just the finger pointing, because the finger pointing and the yelling and all of that is just to make themselves feel better. They're not actually trying to change minds, in my opinion. They might think they are, but in my experience, that's just to make them to vent. They're just venting right now. So ask for definitions, slow the conversation down, elevate it. Like in the law, my background, I'm an attorney. So when you want to prove that a case is similar to another case, you abstract your facts. You say, well, this is similar to this. So these cases are the same, so you should hold the same way. But if you want to differentiate yourself, you get much more specific and say, oh, well, this was 3 feet when that was 4 feet. So we're totally different. So you can do the same thing in debates and conversations to say, hey, I want to make him feel or them feel the same as us. Let's abstract out. We're all humans. We're all trying to figure out what's good is. Let's define what good is and see if we agree on that. And then when you find the differentiations, then you can talk about that in a less passionate environment. That's just, it may not work with them, but that's how I try to approach it. What are your thoughts about that?
Give it age. I was certainly give it a try. I should have been writing some of this down that you've been saying. So yeah. So well, this is recorded,
so you can watch it back if you need to.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to send myself a cramp. So, but that aside, yes. Thank you for helping me, what's the word, censor what I was trying to say better than how my words came across.
Oh, no problem.
And I will take upon my advice. Oh, and Mr. Barrows, it's Chi Do Maybe.
That's a beautiful name. Chi Do Maybe.
Chi Do May. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a Nigerian.
Chi Do May. It's.
Did you say?
Yeah, I've only got the phonetic in front of me. It's better to hear you say it. Chi Do May.
Yeah, I am an atheist, but my name literally means God is at my side.
That's wonderful.
That's awesome.
Did I hear you say it was a Nigerian name?
Yeah, specifically Igbo.
Okay, wonderful. And are you in Nigeria now, or are you located somewhere else?
Pennsylvania now. I used to grew up in Nigeria, though.
Okay.
I really loved all the religion and Catholic stuff until I read the entirety of the Bible back and forth multiple times.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. Yeah, it did it for me.
and that's how the young ones who have just entered it. That's how they came in, because they read the Bible back and forth because they were really good, wanted to be really good at Bible studies, and after they became really good at Bible studies, they kind of became atheists.
That's not a unique story. That happens to a lot of people. And it speaks to why for centuries the Catholic Church forbid anybody from reading the Bible. They didn't want it printed in English when the printing presses started coming out. There was a lot of resistance in the Catholic Church to people actually reading the full Bible instead of just hearing the cherry-picked stories that you hear each sermon throughout the year. So is there a large community from Nigeria in Pennsylvania? Is this a common sort of struggle of coming over and finding your new religious identity and community identity?
There are more Nigerians, or rather more Igbos in Maryland and Texas and Canada than there are in Pennsylvania. They do exist, but they're more sparse. You'll find there's an entire Igbo village in Maryland.
Oh, I'm in Maryland. I'll have to visit sometime.
Yeah. And in Virginia, because I believe either Virginia or Maryland is a place where Igbo slaves willingly walked back into the water rather than be slaves.
Oh, wow. That's quite the history.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
But
well,
thank you for answering my question. I've taken enough of your time, and I'll let you off to and please hang up on me so you can get to the next caller. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. That was a wonderful call. I really appreciated that information. You see a lot of that in traditionally sort of colonialized countries where you have this strong Catholicism or whatever. And I always wondered, do you bring that with you if you emigrate to somewhere else, and what are the struggles? And it sounds like that's what she's starting to encounter.
Yeah, and when it comes to Catholicism, me being a recovering Catholic, it's not the same everywhere in the world. The core beliefs are, but there's issues that the U.S. Catholic Church tends to disagree a lot with Rome, because we tend to be a little bit more liberal here than Rome might like the Catholic Church to be here, and things like that. German Catholics and Spanish Catholics and Italian Catholics all live in the Northeast, and they all have very, very different traditions. Even though the Mass itself is the same, the traditions around it are somewhat different. So yeah, it gets interesting.